Shut up!
Hi, my name's Riley, and this is the Sewer Rat channel. Today, I wanted to take you into the entire history and background of SMOSH, one of YouTube's oldest channels that is still thriving to this day. I want to talk about everything that they went through to get to where they are now, because SMOSH has been through hell and back to get back to SMOSH. I want to take you all the way back to 2002 to talk about SMOSH. Also, SMOSH is not made for kids, and I'm not made for kids. This channel is meant for adults. Not like in that way. God, it's so hard to explain this. I'm just gonna curse and not censor myself when I'm talking about stuff. So if there's a child watching this, you probably shouldn't be watching this. There we go, there's my obligation. If I get anything wrong, please correct me down below. I don't mind being corrected. The internet sometimes kerfuffles stuff, and especially now with this stupid thing where AI is filled in everywhere. Usually if I get something wrong, it's very, very small and minuscule. It's not something I'm like building an entire argument off of. So at least I'm fucking hoping it's not. Anyway, those were my disclaimers. Let's go. Am I shouting? I can't tell if I'm shouting. I'm really excited to talk about SMOSH. My legs are moving. I'm just so excited. To understand where SMOSH came from, you have to understand who SMOSH is and what SMOSH is. SMOSH is basically the friendship between Ian Hecox and Anthony Padilla. Ian and Anthony met in 6th grade, some sort of class. They can't remember if it's a science class or if it was a science project in a class, but they had to draw this type of project together, and they were drawing together, and they found that each other's humor was very, very similar, and they started to become friends. I don't know what year they were when they were in 6th grade, and I didn't want to look it up because I felt very, very weird. But I know for sure that in 2002, Padilla started the website SMOSH.com after hearing his friend say mosh pit as smosh pit. And he thought that's kind of a cool word and decided to use it for his newest website. Anthony told Ian about it, and Ian told Anthony that his dad had a webcam.
Hi, editing rat here. Sorry for the camera and audio quality. I am not clarifying my words correctly right now. Anthony made the website in 2002, and the website hosted things like videos, but they did not make videos until 2005 in the summer when Ian's dad had a webcam. I am sorry, I am not clarifying correctly because I was just amped up on SMOSH and I was so excited to put things on the wall. There is my clarification. They're making videos in 2005, but the website was born in 2002.
They filmed a YouTube-ish video, but really just a lip sync video of them singing the Mortal Kombat theme song together, and they posted it on SMOSH.com. They recorded another lip syncing video of them lip syncing the Pokemon theme song, and they decided to post it on their SMOSH.com website and also another little website called YouTube. See, the year is 2005, and YouTube has just hit the internet. It used to be a dating website where you would post videos of yourself to show that you were like a real person on the internet, and then it changed to just a video hosting website where you could post anything that was a video. The two made the YouTube channel SMOSH and posted the Mortal Kombat theme song video on there, and that got some traction, and then they ended up posting the Pokemon theme song. The Pokemon theme song put SMOSH on the map, like literally on the front page of YouTube. This was one of their first viral YouTube videos, and what I consider one of the first viral YouTube videos. The Pokemon theme song by SMOSH is a classic YouTube video that I am sure you have seen if you have been on the internet, and you have for sure seen that wall of CDs or DVDs. I don't know, they're the same shape. After seeing the success that they had on YouTube versus SMOSH.com, the duo decided to start making SMOSH videos pretty frequently after that. Ian Hecox made a second YouTube channel called Ian H, which was used to comment on YouTube videos and just more as his own personal YouTube channel to use. It got changed to SMOSH's second channel. The two started to regularly make sketch comedies together on SMOSH's YouTube channel and still frequently post on SMOSH.com. The two became very, very popular. SMOSH was one of the top 10 channels on YouTube from about 2005 all the way to 2011. They were strong YouTubers. They were coming up with some of the huge names that I know as huge YouTubers growing up from when YouTube started, like Annoying Orange, Fred, you have Good Mythical Morning, many YouTube channels starting to pop up and grow, and YouTube starting to find its own footing, and really for the outer world to start seeing that YouTube could be a very profitable and thriving website. Once the duo knew that SMOSH could be profitable and actually have a job, they really committed to YouTube and the SMOSH.com. They started to partner up with a company that would sell ads on SMOSH.com so that they could make money. During this time also, YouTube introduced the beta version of their creator program that we all now love and know today, which is you get money off of ads being ran on your YouTube video or around your YouTube video like a banner. This is how most YouTube creators get their money without it being a sponsored. Also, if there's YouTube ads on this, I didn't put them on there. YouTube put them on there. I can't choose if I can put ads on these videos, just a heads up. So I don't make money off these videos. I just do them for fun. From that, SMOSH started to dedicate all of their time to SMOSH. And when I mean SMOSH started to dedicate their time, most people know SMOSH as Ian and Anthony. The years are about 2008 to 2011 that I'm talking about right now, and SMOSH is growing super strongly. Both Ian and Anthony are committed to the channel. I believe during this time they are living together and they are just working on SMOSH comedies constantly. The second channel of SMOSH was posted like infrequently. Most of the time it was contest winners, ads about different things that they were doing, and behind the scenes of who Ian and Anthony really were, or behind the scenes of specific videos that they had recorded for their SMOSH channel. The thing that makes SMOSH's story so interesting to me is the time that it lands. YouTube has just been born, basically. Nobody really knows or understands how long YouTube is going to be there and if it's going to be a fad that is in and then out. The internet is starting to move so quickly, probably a lot slower than it is like right now with the internet, but definitely things are moving forward and people are having real life jobs by making YouTube videos. Something nobody had even heard of, and a lot of people were told by parents or by other close friends, dude, jump ship, what are you doing? You're making YouTube videos. You can't make a life out of this. You can't make money. But SMOSH was defying that system. They were able to support themselves and be able to make sketch comedies. They were living the best life they possibly could in their early 20s, doing things they love. In this era, SMOSH is owned by Ian and Anthony. And you may be thinking, why am I talking about ownership of channels? That's so weird. You've obviously never heard about the SMOSH story before. SMOSH is owned by Ian and Anthony. They both made the channel together. However, Anthony is the one who made the original SMOSH.com website. SMOSH can be split up into many different eras, and I believe what everyone considers the classic eras of SMOSH is 2005 to 2010, before SMOSH is owned by a company, when SMOSH is still being ran primarily out of the brains of Anthony and Ian. These are the years that are full of classic SMOSH stuff, like the Pokemon theme song, other lip syncing songs, their own songs like Boxman, which I personally love Boxman. You have Food Battle, and of course, during SMOSH's classic era, most beautiful, the charming, shit, it didn't stay, the most classic character from the SMOSH era, Ian's mom, who is properly named Ian's mom. And during this time, they started to do this thing called SMOSH Pit Weekly on the website, where they talk about a bunch of different things, because again, SMOSH Pit, like mosh pit, that's where that name came from. SMOSH Pit, by the way. Just a fun fact. It's because it was the original mishearding of Anne. Yeah, I know. You guys are smart. You guys got it. In 2011, lots of things started to change for SMOSH for the better, and some people consider it for the worst. SMOSH gets introduced to one of their first reoccurring cast members that is not Ian or Anthony, and that is Mari Takahashi. I love Mari. She has always been one of my favorites in SMOSH games. She started to come on to SMOSH's second channel to start doing this thing called SMOSH Pit Weekly, where she would talk about all of the different things that were happening video game wise and would talk about it in one big news video. SMOSH Pit Weekly used to be something I believe Ian would do, where he would just talk about a bunch of random stuff that was happening during that week to be able to post on YouTube, and then it got changed to Mari's SMOSH Pit Weekly. During SMOSH's classic era, you had sketches on their classic channel, SMOSH, and then on SMOSH's second channel, you had things like Lunchtime with SMOSH, Ian is Bored, and of course, Mail Time with SMOSH, where fans would send in mail to their P.O. box and they would open it. So in 2011, not only did we get the beautiful, the wonderful Mari, but we also got the demon in disguise, Defy. Defy Media buys SMOSH in 2011 for stock options. To talk about the Defy buy is kind of insane when looking back on it almost 15 years later now, in 2025. What would become Defy Media, but before was called some sort of other stupid media name. I'm not even gonna name them because they're stupid. That's my personal opinion. And Defy is dead anyway, so they can't even sue me. Defy Media comes in and basically talks to Ian and Anthony saying, hey, we've been running ads on SMOSH.com, but we feel that we should buy your channel and give you stock into the company, and we will basically fund your YouTube videos and your channels, and you don't have to think about any of the business side anymore, which was really weighing on Ian and Anthony. When the company came in and offered to take basically off all of the business pressure that is making SMOSH choke out Ian and Anthony, they jumped on the opportunity. Not only did the company offer that they would do all of their business stuff and get them brand deals and get their name out there better, but they would also guarantee SMOSH another 4 years on YouTube. And that was something in 2011 not many people could see. You have to remember that YouTube has been around for about 6 years at this point, and what people know about YouTube is that YouTube is a website for kids. It's a place where kids go and they post stupid stuff, and it's not educational at all, and there's no profit really to YouTube. But many people, like SMOSH, made YouTube very profitable. SMOSH was bringing in a lot of viewership onto YouTube, and Defy saw that. Defy Media decided to give Ian and Anthony stock options in the company of Defy and SMOSH, basically saying you can have a shit ton of money in our stocks and in our company to be able to show that our company is profitable and is good. However, you cannot sell or trade those stocks, and those stocks mean nothing until the company is public and we are on a trading form. Now, I don't know a lot about stocks because I personally think stocks is a very silly game and is very close to gambling sometimes, and stocks can very much screw over your life. However, I know some people put stocks into things that are guaranteed, like Hershey's chocolate or, Disney and things like that, and Netflix that are so profitable and so good that no matter what you do, you basically just get money in return, and it's like a beautiful thing. With DeFi, it wasn't. So SMOSH agreed, and they sold DeFi, the SMOSH channel, for nothing, for 0 coin, for just stock. And SMOSH was officially handed over to DeFi Media. SMOSH was one of the, I believe, kind of first channels that was like an OG YouTube channel that was bought by a company. And it was seen as this like huge thing of like, whoa, SMOSH is owned by a company. Like a company is backing SMOSH. It's kind of crazy. But DeFi really helped SMOSH in the early days. I'm sorry, like it's hard. Like I know where DeFi ends up and I know where SMOSH ends up. So it makes me feel a little bit less awful for the salt that was just constantly rubbed into the wounds of Ian and Anthony while DeFi owned their company. But DeFi really made a lot of creative choices for SMOSH that kind of made sense for SMOSH and kind of didn't make sense for SMOSH. DeFi started to push more content from SMOSH and really basically swapped out the business grind that Ian and Anthony had to do for just extra content grind. So instead of the two being stressed about videos, performance, the thumbnails, and all the back ends of paying people and adding things and whatever it takes to run a YouTube business channel in 2011, they're now just forced to constantly make content. They're constantly writing, they're constantly acting, they're constantly producing, and shocker, this starts to burn them out. I really tells them, make more channels, diversify more. You already have the two, SMOSH and SMOSH's second channel. Why not make SMOSH Games? So SMOSH makes SMOSH Games. In 2012, SMOSH starts to grow their channels even more, and their game channel starts to grow with more familiar faces from Clever TV. From Clever TV, we get Lasercorn, Joven, and Sohinki. I'm so sorry if I said any of those wrong. I am dyslexic and my brain is terrible at trying to figure out syllables and words. I'm sorry. I swear I'm not trying to be a bitch. I just am terrible at sounding words. Oh. Everyone's looking at me weird now. SMOSH had already dipped their toes into the video game sphere with things like the Pokemon theme song, the Mortal Kombat theme song that they lip synced to, and of course the SMOSH Pit Weekly that was on their website that talked about video games constantly. So DeFi pushes the content of SMOSH Games onto basically these four, and Ian and Anthony sometimes popping in to basically be like, hey, remember us? We also have the channel, but look, there's these faces too, was like kind of the feeling I was getting from the vibes that DeFi gives. It's like DeFi feels like one of those people that's like, you should buy this pizza because it has SMOSH's brand on it, not because the pizza's good. DeFi seems like the type of company right now that is just pushing SMOSH into anything and everything that can get them bigger and better. So DeFi brings in, of course, these three from Clever TV. If you're wondering why does Clever TV sound so familiar, Clever TV is another channel that DeFi Media owns. Clever TV is basically a wannabe BuzzFeed. Sorry, just gonna say it. I was there on the battlegrounds for the BuzzFeed epidemic that happened. BuzzFeed was everywhere. And for one thing for sure, Clever TV wanted to be BuzzFeed. And DeFi basically was pushing Clever to be BuzzFeed. Like, look at BuzzFeed. They have an entire rotating cast of people who come in, try certain things, and are gone. These videos get billions of clicks. We should totally do it. We should do the same thing. Let's just capitalize on every single market possible with SMOSH and with Clever TV and basically cover like everything so that we can rake in all of the profit from the internet. It's kind of the feeling that I get from DeFi. And again, they can't sue me because they're dead. From 2011 to 2015, DeFi Media is very much pushing, but also helping open doors for SMOSH, like a lot of doors. I believe at the time, SMOSH has about 7 channels by about 2015, thanks to DeFi. DeFi really told them, like, go buck wild, make that channel, make that show. Sorry, I hit you, microphone. Do everything that you possibly can to get all of the content revenue. DeFi definitely gave the duo a much bigger budget than what they had before. As you can see, the boys are looking super nice. This is a professional photo shoot. I think they took for a magazine. I can't really remember where I got this picture, but I just love Anthony's hair. I haven't talked about the boy's hair yet. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Like, it's so iconic. The bowl cut, super iconic, still super iconic in this one. It was a choice, but I love that choice, okay? Recently, my mom showed me a picture of a mullet and she was like, isn't that terrible? And I was like, that is amazing. Like, there's just something about a bad hair that I find really amazing once you look back on it, where it's like, yeah, he fucking rocked that shit. Everyone's now gonna comment about my bad hair, huh? I just got bangs, but I'm not going through anything. I just felt like bangs would be nice for the winter. Okay, anyway, the budget definitely that DeFi has is getting better and bigger, and SMOSH's impact is getting really huge. SMOSH is interacting with fans a lot more. SMOSH is very much towing that line of parasocial online relationship, which is very, very very common in the YouTube sphere, really important key factor when it comes to SMOSH. And again, when I say SMOSH, SMOSH is built off of the friendship that Ian and Anthony possess. And with parasocial relationships online, what happens a lot too with duos is comparison.
Oh, hey, it's another editing rat. I'm not getting my words clear here. Parasocial relationship that I'm talking about right now is not like with fan interactions and the fans are being like way too overly attached with SMOSH. Like that was definitely happening. But like the parasocial relationship that a creator can get from the fans and hearing assumptions being made through a screen, reading all of those comments and seeing them and like taking them in and not saying anything to your friends around you about it, because that's kind of like how Anthony was feeling. I'm just gonna like say it out there, like that's what he said online. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick if I sound terrible. That's kind of like the point that I was trying to get across, is not that they were harboring a parasocial relationship with their fans, but the assumptions their fans were making about their friendship and their character. Again, parasocial relationship that fans get from assuming that they know this person from more than just behind a screen sort of started to feed into Anthony's head a lot. Sorry, I'm bad with explaining stuff sometimes. I didn't want to like spoil stuff, but rewatching that edit, it was really confusing, so I thought I would put that in here.
What happened a lot was that Ian was the funny one and Anthony was the cute one, and there was nothing in between. How could you find this ugly mug cute? Well, I did. I always thought the bowl cut was kind of cute. I'm sorry. Even my brother did. He's gay. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really stressed and excited right now about SMOSH. I don't want to speak for anybody. I'm not speaking for Ian, and I'm not speaking for Anthony. From what they were saying in the YouTube videos that I watched recently, where they were talking about it, where Ian was reading the old letter that Anthony had wrote him, Anthony definitely felt those comments of like, you're not funny, you're only attractive. And I think Ian felt the flip of that, of you're only funny and you're not attractive. If you weren't funny, you wouldn't be here. And the only reason that Anthony is here is because he's cute. And like that can really, really fuck with someone's mind when constantly those are the comparisons that you're getting to your best friend that you're living with and making content with 24/7. In the letter that Ian read that Anthony had wrote, Anthony said that the cracks of Ian and Anthony's best friendship started to form around 2009 to 2011, really. And what Anthony said was, I think now looking back on it, it was the comments that I was feeding into and that were really disheartening for me, hearing that I'm not funny, I'm only attractive, and hearing that you're the funny one, you're the brains behind this operation. That really hurt and was hard to hear, and I held that against you when I shouldn't have. Which I think beautiful on Anthony's part, like very mature, very demure, but it's understandable. Like, could you imagine living with your best friend, creating content with your best friend, and then selling your channel that you have created together to a company who's then going to tell you like, make more content, be best friends. Your entire identity and brand is on the two of you being best friends, your lifetime best friends. And like a very interesting thing that Anthony pointed out, and even Ian agreed with, is that their friendship has grown and they've grown and changed as people. The person that they were in 6th grade drawing that little science project together are very different people in 2015, 2016. And it's hard to grapple with that and understand that like that's the person you love, it's a person you know, but they've changed and they've grown. Growing with them as well is a very hard thing when you're battling all of these thoughts. Like, it's very understandable why the crack started to form both within the company of SMOSH and the friendship of SMOSH. Defy definitely helped SMOSH enter into a lot more spheres than they would have. And even the duo say that themselves. More recently, again, with more recent interviews, the two of them say that SMOSH probably wouldn't have had a magazine, a mobile game, or a lot of the things that SMOSH had from 2011 to 2015. So we're right now in the current timeline of 10 years ago, 2015. I started watching SMOSH like religiously. Like, I loved the SMOSH squad and the SMOSH game crew. I am so sorry to say that, but it's true. I watched SMOSH constantly. I went to a SMOSH panel and VidCon in 2017. That was really fun. Or it was 2016. I can't remember. It was like one of the 2 years. Me and my brother, we went to VidCon and we went to a SMOSH squad panel, and it was really amazing. Thinking about it now, it's like really stupid that I went to VidCon, because VidCon cost me like $150 as a child, and then it was like $30 a day for parking because I live in the Anaheim area, so I was like close to the convention center. And so like me and my brother drove into the convention center every single day instead of staying down there, and it was just like really expensive to go to VidCon. And it was one of the like stupidest and funniest things. I think I still have my badge like somewhere from VidCon. I am sure it's in a memory box somewhere because I keep everything like a pack rat. I gotta go there, and it was really fun. And this is like when I first entered like SMOSH, like my brother, who I absolutely love and adore, who was also obsessed with SMOSH, who's just 4 years above me. Also, I think by 2015, I think SMOSH had 10 million subscribers. SMOSH was also one of the first channels to hit 1 million subscribers. Fun fact. SMOSH is amazing. They were like the first for like a lot of stuff, like the first YouTube channel to get completely screwed over by being bought out by a company. Besides my childhood rambling, SMOSH introduced the SMOSH Squad. Some of my favorite like SMOSH casts, like I love the SMOSH Squad, love the SMOSH Squad. Let's put them up on the board. As you can see, the SMOSH family has grown. SMOSH in 2015, thanks to Defy Media, decided to split up their channels into 3 kind of fun little main groups. The SMOSH duo of Ian and Anthony, the SMOSH Games crew, which consisted of Mari, Joven, Lasercorn, Sahoki, Flitz, and Wes. 2 people who were added during SMOSH's classic times in the background of SMOSH games and then became main SMOSH faces for the SMOSH Games crew. For the SMOSH Squad, they went on to SMOSH's second channel. Forgot to move the second channel one. The SMOSH Squad consisted of Olivia, Noah, Keith, Shane, and Courtney. Don't mind my misspells, I'm dyslexic sometimes. From 2015 to 2016, Defy's whole entire basically goal was to make all of these people the faces of each of the own channels that they were tied to. So again, SMOSH Games is consistent of all of these people, and the SMOSH's second channel is consistent of all of these people. SMOSH's main channel is consistent of both of these people, some of these people, and sometimes these people. Defy BuzzFeed it, okay? We're gonna like not dance around this, but Defy wanted to be BuzzFeed. Defy just tried so hard to make SMOSH like BuzzFeed in a comedic way and aimed towards, not a shocker, children. SMOSH, again, has never, ever, ever been aimed at purposefully, on purpose, for the viewers of children. It just so happens that Ian and Anthony have childlike comedy, and YouTube was a place that primarily where kids went to on the internet. However, a lot of young adults also watch SMOSH, and Defy didn't really understand that and just straight up thought that SMOSH was BuzzFeed Kids version, and that's what they did. SMOSH's second channel started to do these super fun things, which was every single day there was a different show that premiered. So for example, on Mondays there would be a show that Courtney and Olivia were hosts of. On Tuesdays there was a show that Noah was in charge of. On Wednesdays there was a show that Shane was in charge of. And the same thing kind of happened over here with games, where they were doing different series and game types at the time, and every single day a new episode of that series would release, which hearing that is insanity. Like just pure torture to be constantly pumping out so much content. But again, it's like 2015, 2017, BuzzFeed is everywhere. Content like this is everywhere. Content pushing is super huge, but not in the way that it is now with like content farming, where it's like a Reddit story being voiced by like an AI while some sort of like little Minecraft man jumps on a bunch of like little blocks. Like it's not that kind of like content schlock. It's just literally content. Like they're just producing so much content, and Defy is like paying for all of it. Of course, I mean, SMOSH is paying for all of it at the end of the day, because SMOSH's revenue and money that they're making is going in Defy's pocket, which then Defy diversifies it into each of their own little channels and pockets. So like, is Defy making SMOSH money? I guess. They're the ones like doing the brand reach outs and stuff like that. So I guess they're kind of making the money, but like also it's SMOSH making the money because they're producing so much content, but Defy is paying so much money to produce this content. So it's kind of like this thing where SMOSH is making money and then Defy is like immediately ripping all that money out and like producing more stuff just to have like slosh hitting the internet and getting famous, because like again at this time BuzzFeed is pumping in with all of their own brand specific things, like BuzzFeed Unsolved, the BuzzFeed Try Guys, the BuzzFeed Girl version of Try Guy. Like there was all that kind of stuff. I can't think of it right now because like literally I've consumed so much brain rot BuzzFeed content in my life that I just kind of like purged it out of my brain at a certain point, and now all of that is just like slop in a bucket for me. The SMOSH second channel hosted different types of series like Seriously Stupid Sleepovers, Put It In My Mouth, SMOSH Squad Vlogs and Field Trips, SMOSH Labs, and The Show With No Name. On SMOSH's main channel, they were producing content like music videos, Every Blink Ever, What If Blank Was Real, and other one-off skits and parodies. In SMOSH Games, they had things just like I was saying, with series that connected to Minecraft, the SMOSH Summer or Winter games that they would have every single year, and of course the Board AF, which is during the time that board games is just popping the fuck off on YouTube. And now is my time where I'm going to take another little break and talk about why we need SMOSH Summer Games back. Please, 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 may I have SMOSH Summer Games back. SMOSH Summer Games, again, if you're like entering this video and you have never, ever, ever heard anything of SMOSH and you know nothing about SMOSH and you're here like entering onto this like stuff, a classic classic Smosh thing that I really wish they would bring back. They started to do because Defy had so much money with Smosh Summer Games and Smosh Winter Games. It's basically the Olympics, but on 2 teams, and it's just a bunch of different games that everybody goes and competes on, and you see who wins in the end. It was a bunch of fun to watch. It was especially fun watching all of the cast interact with each other and being split off into different teams, where you have some of your favorite Smosh Games people with some of your favorite Smosh squads playing together, and you're championing for that team to win. And of course, you can have the split of it. If you only really loved the Smosh squad, you had 2 different teams to cheer for, because the Smosh squad and the Smosh Games crew were split evenly, usually with team captains of Papa Ian and Papa Anthony. Everybody wants Smosh Games back. It's a huge thing. Like, I'm not the only one who is like literally here shaking in my enclosure, like, give me a Smosh Winter Games, give me a Smosh Summer Games. And a lot of people were hoping that this year they would bring back Smosh Summer Games, because they were talking about how they had a huge summer announcement, and people were like, oh my god, they're announcing Smosh Summer Games, but they announced something even better and something that I love even more. Because Smosh did so well last year in 2024 from their Try Not to Laugh gauntlet that they showed with their analytics, the Smosh channel has like blown up like 50% more in the last year of like engagement and stuff, and everybody is like way more in Smosh. So I'm really hoping from all of this extra like ad revenue and people showing up that we can like do Smosh Summer Games, because I really want to do Smosh Summer Games both with cast and crew, because I love the crew. Like, we haven't even talked about the crew yet, because the crew gets way more introduced like past 5 years. The past 5 years is like, never mind, I'm talking too fast, we gotta go back. Please bring Smosh Summer Games back, please. So 2017 is a huge year in the year of Smosh. Not only do they add in 2 more staying characters of Damien and Bose on Smosh Games, but they also start to trickle out and lose Joven and Sahinki. Both of them decided to take their jobs from full-time to part-time from Smosh to be with their children. That's at least what I read online. I could be wrong. But the 2 of them slowly started to step away from Smosh, and the Smosh Games crew became now these you people. So I'm gonna remove these cuties. Sorry, guys. Something else huge happens in 2017 that I didn't really want to talk about because it's pretty heartbreaking. Anthony leaves Smosh. That's right. In July of 2017, Anthony decides that he is no longer going to be working at Smosh, and he will not be renewing his contract with Defy Media, and he will be leaving the Smosh family. It is said that Anthony asked Ian to leave with him, and that they could start their own channel that wasn't run by a company, because at this point Anthony was pretty burnt out with what Defy had made Smosh, and he didn't want to conform to it anymore. So he told Ian that he would be leaving and that he wouldn't be at Smosh anymore. Anthony asked him again, leave, come with me, start a new YouTube channel. He asked, why? Start all over again and leave everything behind? Our back catalog? Like, Defy owned everything that Smosh had ever touched, the Pokemon theme song, so many things that are classic Smosh, Defy owned. And Anthony was ready to leave Smosh out of burnout, but Ian wasn't willing to give up the back catalog. So the 2 split. One of his dads basically left, and Ian was left a single father to all of his children. He didn't really know what to do, but he knew for sure that he would be staying for 1, the back catalog, and 2, everybody on this board. There's a lot more people on this. I'm not even showing who are crew that show up later on in the story, but there were many people that Ian felt he couldn't leave. Over the next year, Smosh would try to re-find its footing without Anthony, and Anthony would go on to make his own content. Anthony would actually get pretty popular becoming a interviewer. He interviewed a lot of different people and now has a very strong YouTube channel of interviewing people in a very empathetic way. But he left, and he went to go and create on his own. And Anthony never came back. He was gone. And the question remained, where's Anthony? And that question stuck around with both of the channels for a pretty long time. I would say probably from 2017 all the way to 2020. Many people were holding out hope and really just wishing that Ian and Anthony would somehow drift back together and Smosh would be one big family again. But that didn't happen. Nope. For all of the 2010s, 2017 was the last time that Ian and Anthony would collaborate together publicly online. 2017 and 2018 was also a hard year to watch, as you could see the Smosh family was slowly getting burnt out. Like I said, 2017 to 2015 was a lot of content. Constantly, every single day, something new was being uploaded. Constantly, the squad and the games crew are being pulled to different shoots, and everyone started to get a little burnt out and really tired of the big guy. But they stuck together as a team, and they decided that they were going to keep pushing forward and making content, because what mattered was the content. And as long as the content stayed good, they would keep fighting the big bad guy of Defy and make Smosh together. But in the summer of 2018, this little rumor started to hush around the internet. Basically, what had been happening behind the scenes for the last about 4 years was Defy Media was swooping up a lot of YouTube channels and helping them be able to get brand advertisement and sponsors. Defy would help you different YouTube channels do that, and then Defy would take a cut and give those YouTube creators their cut. At the time, Defy Media is housing 2 very large YouTube channels, Clever TV and Smosh. From what I remember but can't find on the internet, this is one thing I'm going to claim that I have absolutely zero source on, and you can let me know if I'm wrong or right, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Smosh and Clever TV were in the same building. Defy basically had a building for Smosh Games, had storage storage for the Smosh skits and had Clever TV filming there as well. So a lot of people from Clever TV, like Lasercorn or Joven, came into Smosh. Also who came with those is a couple other people who I desperately love, but we're not going to talk about them just yet, because you hear much more about them after the Defy closure and bringing over. Defy Media is housing both Clever TV and Smosh in one building, I believe, during this time, and they are housing a bunch of other small YouTube channels, basically raking in a bunch of money. And what happens is, in the summer of 2018, people start to hear rumors that Defy is, quote, shifting around money right now, and we'll talk to you later. That's what I could basically hear from most people who talked about Defy, and from the articles I was reading. Defy Media just kind of was like, hey, we're fine, we're gonna pay you, no big deal. It's been a couple of weeks since paying. The Smosh family goes into a meeting in October, I believe it is, basically being told Defy Media will be closing in January, and you have about like 60 days to go and find somewhere new. What they were told, that they could still stay at the business offices and still be being paid for those next 60 days, because legally in the state of California, you have to give somebody a 60-day notice if the company is closing down. And Defy is kind of basically saying, we're kind of closing down in like the October time of 2018. Then on November 6th, 2018, Defy Media sends a company-wide email letting everybody know they've been laid off and Defy Media is no more. And you need to go get your paycheck today, because after today, no more pay will be kept out from Defy. And basically, the job's over. The Smosh crew was literally in the middle of writing a sketch when the email came through that Smosh would basically be no more and Defy would be no more. Nobody knew what to do, and because it's such a big company thing, there's a lot of NDAs and information that we don't know. But what we for sure know is Defy is the bad guys. But Defy is gone. Defy is gone. But Defy still technically owns Smosh. And so Smosh, what is going to happen is that the channel of Smosh is going to be basically sold for assets and sold for money for the highest bidder. So what's going to happen is that Defy, anything that isn't been bought out or sold, is going to be placed up on a bidding block, and whoever bids it the most gets Smosh in the back catalog. And that is terrifying. If you are Ian Heacock in this position, where just a year ago, your best friend and partner who started Smosh with you has left, you're now in charge of all of these people, and now the company that is supposed to be helping you keep all of these people fed and alive is no longer available. So where does everybody go? Most of these people have been working here for a long time, and Ian's been working with Defy since 2011, and now Smosh is homeless. It is said and it is rumored that after the email was sent out that Defy sent, basically everybody in the office got their paycheck, came back to their desk, went out and maybe bought some alcohol and started partying in the office. Which, like, I would do the same thing, honestly, if like my company sent me an email and was like, hey, you're being fired, by the way, go get your paycheck. I would probably also come back with like a 6-pack and just start raging at this place. So when Defy shut down and the offices got closed, a lot of classic Smosh props were completely picked through and taken over, and we no longer have access to the Smosh like some of the classic Smosh props. Like the Assassin's Creed outfit was taken by somebody. There was a lot of stuff that was taken because they didn't know if Smosh was even going to exist after Defy. So it was like, yeah, sure, whatever. The building's fucking burning. Just take it. A week later, after Defy rumors and the internet kind of like found out, because Defy just like put it on Twitter and was like, hey, by the way, we're shutting down and we're not paying anybody because we're in a bunch of debt. Because like, again, they'd been taking money from other YouTube channels and creators, and like Clever didn't get paid, I believe. Like there was a lot of people who didn't get paid from Defy. I'm sure Smosh didn't get paid a lot, and what they should have gotten from Defy, because Defy was just like, peace, I gotta go, this is a little bit scary and weird, and they just like left. So Defy leaves, Smosh is homeless, but they still have content to put on Smosh Games, original channel Smosh, and Smosh's second channel, which is now properly called Smosh Pit. Just like that misheard thing that Anthony heard all those 15 years ago. Smosh's second channel, now called Smosh Pit. There was content for all three of the channels all the way through 2018 and maybe into 2019, but most likely what was going to happen is Smosh is gone. A lot of people believed, and I remember this was like around the time that I fell off was when Anthony left Smosh, was when I left Smosh too, because it was like so heartbreaking and hard to watch, and you just see everybody was so drained, everybody was so tired, and it was just kind of like hard to watch. When Smosh ended, I think a lot of people just accepted like a classic YouTube channel is finally done and over with, and Smosh ceases to exist, and that is the entire Smosh timeline. Just kidding, motherfucker! Guess who comes in to save the day? Boom. Good mythical morning. Rhett and Link. Rhett and Link own their very own company called Mythical. Good Mythical Morning is another classic YouTube channel that has been around for ages that started their own brand and came to Papa Link and Papa Rhett and asked them, will you please buy SMOSH? Please, please, please buy SMOSH. And they said, I will buy SMOSH for you. And SMOSH in 2019 was officially acquired by Mythical.
Hi, I'm editing again, and I'm sick. Don't mind me. I changed my angle for this filming, and it is drastically different, and I did not realize that, so I'm very sorry. I'm here to pre-warn you. There is a drastic change in the quality of the shot, and I liked the quality of the shot before, and the rest of the video is a different quality, and it's a lot brighter, and it feels a lot more sterile. Before, it felt really cozy and warm. So I'm sorry about that. Didn't catch it until right now, and it's way too late. So just wanted to pre-warn you.
In between the time of SMOSH being acquired by Mythical and dissolved by Defy, some people were coming in and leaving. Some people who left were Flitz in 2018, Lasercorn left in 2017 and then came back for the seasons of 2019 and 2020. Bose left in 2019, Wes left in 2019 as well. Mari left in 2020. After Defy officially left their grip off of SMOSH, SMOSH also got rid of the naming of SMOSH Games, Crew, and SMOSH Squad. So SMOSH is no longer underneath the wannabe BuzzFeed, aka Defy. Mythical is now here to usher in a new series of SMOSH for them. And SMOSH basically gets told by Mythical that we have a building down in LA for you, go buck wild. And they basically had extra office space to be able to hire in people from SMOSH to come in and to continue to let SMOSH grow. Now, we lost many of our SMOSH game crew during this time of 2018 to 2020. Many of our SMOSH games crew starts to slowly fade into the background. Mostly and strongly, the main person still from SMOSH games that is still on SMOSH to this day is Damien. We also add in 3 new comedic actors into our gauntlet of SMOSH with Jackie, Amanda, and Kimmy. Kimmy is the last person that Defy actually hired and brought in for SMOSH that SMOSH took with them back over into Mythical, and she was in a lot of the sketches from 2018 to 2021. Our SMOSH squad is still here, but again, no longer going by the name of SMOSH Squad. Down here is some of the crew that starts to become a bit more cast with SMOSH going over from Defy into Mythical. We have Garrett, Sarah, Matt, Tommy, and Spencer. In May of 2018, Shane Top graduated from Arizona State with a bachelor's in psychology. Shockingly, something happened in 2021 that really shook up SMOSH and a lot of the world. It's this small little thing called the pandemic.
I know the pandemic happened in 2020. It also happened in 2021. Dyslexia is so hard sometimes where it just fills words where you don't want words to be. So I'm not stupid. I know when the pandemic happened. I'm not dumb. I just can't speak.
I know you've probably heard about the pandemic thousands of times, and you have probably lived through the pandemic if you were able to click on this video and figure out what it was. The pandemic was a time where everybody was stuck inside, and comedy channels like SMOSH were trying to adapt. After 1 year of being back from being homeless and now sheltered in with the Mythical crew, now SMOSH had to figure out how to do comedy from home. And they did it. They did the kazoo, try not to laugh, instead of try not to laugh with water. They did a lot of things to get around stuff for COVID to keep SMOSH going, but during this time it was hard for SMOSH, but SMOSH found their footing. Within those first 2 years, the SMOSH crew had figured out what first made SMOSH so magical for Ann and Anthony all the way back in 2005 in that small, tight bedroom. And that is comedy. That's as simple as it is. SMOSH learned that the strongest thing that SMOSH is good at is making people laugh. So SMOSH did just that. They found each other's rhythm and they found each other's beat, and the team is hilarious now. But the team is still not fully correct. We add 3 more new family members into the SMOSH family with Angela, Chance, and Arasha. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm running out of room on this board, but the family is extensive at this point. In 2022, SMOSH is just growing and getting stronger and funnier and better.
I forgot to talk about Keith's cancer journey that he went through from 2021 to 2023. In April of 2021, Keith announced on Instagram that he had a stomach tumor inside his body and that he was going through cancer. That stomach tumor grew. He had a really fun photo shoot of his stomach with the cancer, and then in July of 2023 he got the cancer removed and has successfully gone on to remission and has done really well. He seems healthy. There was a whole Smosh Mouth podcast about his cancer experience and his journey if you want to take a check out. It's very, very good. It's a great listen. I thought I had talked about this, but I guess I forgot to talk about it, and I feel like it's a weird thing to leave out because it's a huge part of Keith's life and he's a huge part of Smosh, so it felt appropriate to put it in the timeline.
SMOSH starts to create what I like to call their second back catalog, which is what a lot of people are watching currently when they go back in and are enjoying SMOSH, which is their new Try Not to Laughs with original characters that are based more towards improv than actually just trying to make somebody laugh at something stupid. SMOSH Funeral Roast, the SMOSH Tell-Alls, reading Reddit stories with wonderful Shane and anybody from the cast, and even back to Shane again with Shane Guesses. And SMOSH this time also released one of their other main channels that everybody knows to this day, which is SMOSHcast, which holds all of their podcasts on that channel. During 2022 and 2023, SMOSH just found themselves. They found their voice and they refound what they were known for, a comedy channel full of comedic people. And people saw. Everybody started to flow back into SMOSH and rewatching SMOSH and remembering, holy shit, these guys are hilarious. And it's great. I love watching SMOSH. Again, I watch it all of the time. And do you know who else noticed that SMOSH was really popping off? Anthony. At the end of 2022, Ian reached out to Anthony as they hadn't talked since he first left when Defy was in charge. But that was almost 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Now, SMOSH is owned by Mythical. These two handsome little fellas run it now. Not some weird corporate overlord. These nice guys. They run SMOSH. They help SMOSH be real. And so, Ian's friend, Diana, I believe I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure it's Diana and not Diane. I'm pretty sure it's Diana. I imagine that he was just talking to like Princess Diana. But yeah, so Ian and Princess Diana were talking, and Princess Diana suggested, like, hey, why don't you and Anthony talk anymore? Like, you two seemed very close online. Your guys' entire channel and what your company still is based off of your guys' friendship. Like, it would be pretty epic if the two of you got back together and were friends again. So Ian decided to contact Anthony, and after some time and some healing on Anthony's side, Anthony was kind of in the same boat. People in his life, like his girlfriend at the time, were pushing him to go and talk to Ian again, as the two of them seemed very close friends, and they possibly could still be friends. So in 2022, the two of them went to lunch. And from that lunch, the two of them got lunch again. And they kept seeing each other, and they started to hang out. And Ian and Anthony were becoming friends again. Maybe they weren't so split apart and hidden under two other men. And so one day, when Ian and Anthony were hanging out together, Ian looked at Anthony and said, hey, what if we bought back SMOSH? And Anthony said, holy shit, man, I was thinking the same exact thing. But if we're going to buy SMOSH back, we have to do SMOSH right, and we're going to do it our own way. And so in 2023, it was announced Ian and Anthony were buying back SMOSH. After 12 years, SMOSH was officially back in the hands of Ian and Anthony, and no longer under some sort of corporate overlord like Defy or a really comfy, nice company like Mythical. Instead, SMOSH was just SMOSH. And just like that, here's our SMOSH family. SMOSH has grown and changed over the last 23 years that SMOSH has existed. SMOSH has existed since 2002 when Anthony first made that website. And now SMOSH looks like this. Who would have guessed? Just a couple of decades later, SMOSH would still be kicking it and crushing YouTube. In the last year, like I was saying, with their analytics, it has shown that SMOSH has just blown up and has recaptured everybody's heart. And I think a huge part of that is that my generation, Gen Z, which is like becoming the new millennials basically, is now getting like nostalgia for SMOSH, but SMOSH is like not the same. SMOSH is definitely not how SMOSH was in 2011 or 2005 or even 2015. 2024 SMOSH is completely different, even from 2020 SMOSH, and that's just who's on the cast. Depending on who the cast is, it depends on the entire video and the entire situation. And this is our SMOSH cast for the most part. Mostly everybody here still works at SMOSH, I believe, from what I was seeing in videos. Sarah left in 2022-ish time. She has not come back, sadly. But for the most part, this is our SMOSH cast and our SMOSH family.
Kimmy and Jackie have also kind of like retired and phased out of SMOSH. They're not really in SMOSH anymore, but they're in a lot of like the back catalog that people were watching, so it felt wrong to like take them off.
We have Papa Ian and Papa Anthony back at the helm of running SMOSH, and surprise, surprise, Shane and Courtney are actually married. They secretly got married in 2024, and by what I mean in secret, I mean not telling the internet. Of course, they knew they were marrying each other, and of course everybody here knew they were marrying each other, but for the internet it was a big surprise, and for a lot of people who had been shipping Courtney and Shane together for many years were very happy when they found out. SMOSH is now split up into their 4 main channels: SMOSH, SMOSH Games, SMOSH Pit, and SMOSHcast. Their SMOSH channel is still where they post most of their regular videos, like sketch comedies, their show Bit City, which was announced in this summer, which was another thing that I was like talking about when Summer Games, people were excited about what could possibly be Summer Games. Instead, it's Bit City, comedy special show run by Angela and Chance, 2 of my favorite SMOSH members. Angela's my favorite out of the family. If I had to like pick a family member that's my favorite, I think Angela's my favorite family member, or Amanda. I'd go back. If I was left on a desert island, I would want Amanda with me, because I feel like Amanda would have her head screwed on more than Angela would. But like, if I was lost in a park, I think I'd be wanting to be lost in a park with Angela. Yeah, SMOSH Games hosts all of their video games, their Shane Guesses, and their Board AF games, which they still play, which are pretty great. I personally love the Gentleman's Game whenever they play a version of a game, but Gentlemanly is my favorite. It usually goes off the rails very, very quickly. SMOSH Pit is home to Reddit Stories with Shane, Culinary Crimes with Courtney, Beppardy, and Who Memed It. SMOSH Cast holds all of their podcasts, like Lunchtime with SMOSH, which is a podcast with Ian and Anthony, talking about their old times with SMOSH and also just like in general what their life is like. And SMOSH Mouth, the podcast run by Amanda and Shane. SMOSH has also done live streams and comedy specials over the years. Just recently, they had the bundle for all of their live streams that they did over the last like 2 years that you could watch. They're usually pretty great. My personal favorite is the SMOSH sitcom. But yeah, this is the SMOSH family and story, basically. That's basically how SMOSH came to be. Short, wise, sewery, down in the depths of the dirty. Ian and Anthony have now been running SMOSH for over a year, and SMOSH has been doing better than ever. If I can say anything, it's that I feel so lucky that one of my favorite channels from when I was a kid, SMOSH, is still thriving and doing good. I know a lot of people who watched Good Mythical Morning, who used to be up here with Rhett and Link, also feel the same way about Good Mythical Morning, that it just has kind of like stayed and floated the same and has just consistently stayed good, and they feel very lucky to have these types of content creators that haven't burned out and left. But yeah, this has been my SMOSH video. I hope it was like educational. My name is Riley. This has been the Sewer Rat channel. I'm so happy to have been able to take you down into the depths and along the timeline of SMOSH, as this SMOSH timeline is pretty messy when it comes to Defy and the switchovers for stuff, but it's a quite interesting story. For now, this is basically the SMOSH story, like in a short little bit video. Thank you for watching, and now go watch some SMOSH and maybe drink some water. Okay, bye! I feel like my nose is like bleeding. I got a bloody nose this morning, and it was really scary, by the way. I got a really bloody nose this morning, actually, and it like really freaked me out. I was like, maybe I shouldn't talk about SMOSH, but then I was like, maybe it's all of the SMOSH power leaking out of my body.